Welcome back to another Bit Legends video. It feels like it has been a while since I've filmed any Bit Legends content. It's probably since the week that Tower came out, and there's been reasons for it. I've been super busy, and that's kind of part of what this video is going to be about. But also, we've had a little bit of I don't know if a lull is not the right word, but we've had a little break between the Tower content, as you might expect when new stuff comes out. Little bit of a lull, whatever you want to call it. But anywho, this video is my last Bit Legends video. Let's jump into boss. So you can also see that I put myself into Team 2. Chinese has been doing a phenomenal job on pushing. He's really pushed his character. He's not only the top tank in the game. Last time I checked, he is one of the top players in the game easily. So he more than earned it, and I kind of want to rotate other people into Team 1 who have put in the level of work that he has. That's why the Team 1 kind of changed from time to time. But last week he was in Team 1. They killed Guild Boss 5 so fast, I never even had a chance to attack it last week. And I actually intended to, because those are the only Guild Boss attacks I have missed in the entire history of Guild Boss being a thing. They just killed it before I had a chance, and it's not a complaint or anything. I got no problems with that. But it just goes to show how well everybody's doing and the massive amount of power creep from the tower. So, anywho, there's a lot to talk about in this video. So the first things first, yes, this is my last Bit Legends video. I don't anticipate doing any more, and there's no drama. So if anybody wants drama, there's no real drama there. But I'm just super busy, and I would say busy is 80% of this decision, and the tower and Destiny gear and stuff like that, I'm not super upset about it. I just don't think it was done well. I'll even change that. I think that's like 5%. The state of the game is like 5 to 10%. The reason why I am kind of pulling the plug. So there's a lot of things to talk about here, and hopefully we will talk about all of them. What do we do? Everybody's got different weapons these days. But anywho, let's start with tower. So I actually really like tower type content. Many games do it well. The issue with the tower itself is that the tower points out all the flaws of the game. And these flaws existed all the time, but they just, like I said, the tower points out all the flaws in a major way. So number one, tanks suck on their own. It's almost unplayable to be a tank. Any tank that you see that's doing big things has put in so much effort compared to what it would take to be a DPS. And I'm not saying DPSs don't put in effort and all that, of course they do. But because minions do a minuscule fraction of the damage that a player does, it's just like, why would you play a tank? You're just punching your face into the wall repeatedly. Minions continue to prove that they're not a really good investment, because better minions will come, and it's just not fun. I did really enjoy playing tank because I'm supporting my guild, I'm supporting my team, my friends list, etc. And it wasn't the biggest deal because, yes, it was a horrible pain to break through campaign, but once you get through it, it's no big deal. It's relatively easy to tank all the things once you get past that point. But Tower just points out that tanks are horrible. They're horrible. And the other problem with tanks is that Guild Boss, the only time a guild wants a single tank in the guild is if they want one tank for people to run Guild Boss if they don't have friends list for it, and it's pretty easy to get friends. But other than that, you don't need a single tank. The only exception is Guild Boss 5. And in Guild Boss 5, you want 6 tanks. However, if I was a guild leader of a new guild right now, I would tell my guild, hey guys, let's not even worry about Guild Boss 5. I want full DPS for everybody, because other than that, there's no reason to have tanks in the guild. And I would just hook up with a friend tank that would friend everybody in my guild. That's what I would do, and I would have 30 DPS players. So for Guild Boss, you don't help your guild. So if you're a player and you're thinking about playing the game, I still think it's a good game. I still think they've done a phenomenal game, and I still think it's better than the other game that this game is compared to. I would tell new players, absolutely don't be a tank. You'll have the hardest time in PvE. You will contribute the least to your guild no matter how hard you try. It's just bad times. Don't be a tank. And Guild Boss 5 had a moment to make tanks shine, because you needed one tank in each team. And I do believe that Guild Boss 10 in the future, if it's a like 5, even if they require a tank in the front and a tank in the back, or 2 tanks in the front, or whatever it is, that if Guild Boss 10 has loot or something that makes it worth doing Guild Boss 10, that'll require guilds to have 12 tanks, and that'll kind of improve the ratio. But unless they fix how minions work, and I thought they were going to bring in like augments or something to gear up these minions to make them do damage that's comparable to players. Doesn't have to be equal to, doesn't have to be better than, but just comparable to players. Until they fix minions, it's not going to get any better. And in fact, I was assuming that the new wave of Guild Boss that were coming, so 6+, were going to take so much damage that I was actually pushing my tanks in my guild to get a DPS set ready to go. I was really hopeful that the minion changes would help, and then we'd be able to do a ton of damage through our minions and contribute that way. But even if the minion changes did help, it would still be better to be a DPS player with a minion tank with now new and improved minion team, and you do more damage that way. So it's very difficult. The only way for them to fix that is to have augments that make minions do damage comparable to DPS players. And I've said that for a very long time. This is a conversation that we've had for months and months. Gotta fix some tanks. Other things, I really do like the RNG loot of the tower. I really like it a lot. I think RNG loot's great. It reminds me of Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and it means that your build and everything about you is kind of unique, and that's really, really cool. The last thing I want is everybody wearing the same Slayer set or the same whatever set. That's boring. It's super boring. But if you could find a way to make it work where everybody has like a bunch of unique bonuses, and over time you'll get optimal bonuses. It might not be super perfect, but you can keep kind of chasing that goal. That's interesting. But the way that Destiny was done made all the gear that we all worked for useless in one instant. I was able to get Destiny gear that had, it wasn't double my total stats, but it was just such a massive upgrade for my total stats. I was able to get Destiny gear from raids, not even from doing the tower, just from doing the raids that I had on me, to completely gear my character, except for like Thunder Fury and one other piece. And it completely made all the work that I did on the gear that I got completely obsolete. So it doesn't matter if your guild's the first guild to kill whatever boss, or maybe you're the 20th guild to kill whatever guild boss 4. It kind of just makes that accomplishment nothing, because it's like, why would you even bother when you could just do raids, not even the tower itself, but just do raids and get that gear. And then eventually, once you have the gear from raids, from those raid loot boxes, then you can just go and do tower and farm even more and whatnot. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Never, ever, ever in games like these should you put out new stuff that makes the old stuff completely obsolete. Now, if we're talking 10% better, okay, that's not a big deal. I can still use my stuff. It still feels like, my gear is a stepping stone to the new gear. But it's the combination of the fact that I can get better gear from raids, from raid boxes, than in farming all the guild boss 4, 5, raid 9, whatever. It's a bad move. That was never going to be a good move. So I was a little bit disappointed about that, but I'm not really upset about it. I was willing to just be like, all right, you know what, let's roll with it. It was absolutely a mistake, but mistakes can be corrected. Maybe moving forward, it'll all work out when Guild Boss 6 through 10 comes out and things like that. But I want to be clear, it's not a rage quit because of Tower. It's not a rage quit because of Destiny. It's just a criticism. However, a lot of people really, really didn't like it. A lot of people did rage quit. And it just kind of takes out the oomph. It's anytime that you have something that you worked for, you really put effort in, you worked for, you feel rewarded, you feel great when you got your item. Your guild leader gave you the guild sword or the guild gun or whatever. Felt good. That's why we play these games, to get those moments where things feel nice like that, to feel like you earned something. And with a snap of the finger, with lack of testing, lack of communication, lack of whatever, all that's gone. So it's not great. And what else while we're on the roll? Combat is too slow. Yes, they are doing baby steps to try to improve it. It is still too slow. Just if you do all of your regen, it'll take you 3 hours. If you do your guild boss attacks every week, that's a couple hours right there. Maybe it's 2 hours or so if you do all your attacks. 2 hours there. Why we can't loop guild bosses now, I don't know. Loop is an amazing feature in this game. They did a really good job with that. But I don't understand why we can't loop guild boss. Why can't I just go to guild boss 4 and just have my character loop it 10 times or 20 times or whatever? I don't understand. Because, oh my goodness, it takes forever. It takes forever. Now, they have improved it, but the improvements that they keep making are like Band-Aids on top of a system that needs systemic fixes. The system needs systemic fixes. So what are the Band-Aids I'm talking about? They made the guild boss fight shorter, which was good. They reduced the guild boss hit points in accordance with how short the fight was. Completely good, awesome. I'm really happy with that. But it's still a Band-Aid. The problem is that combat is too freaking slow. As you're watching here, I'm trying to die to this boss, and the combat is too slow. 3 hours of regen. And it's not that we have too much content. The amount of content that we have is fantastic. It's great. The problem is that it takes 3 hours. And I'm to the point where, like I said, the 80 to 90% of the reason why I'm making these moves is because I'm busy. So when I have time, I throw it on my laptop, on the Mimu emulator, and I auto-run raids, and that's all I got time for. I'm happy if I can throw some videos out. It just takes too long. It's not that we have too much content, it's the content's too slow. We have an X3 speed multiplier, we need an X50 multiplier, and I don't mind if we have to earn that. That would be an amazing guild perk. I've said this for months. It would be amazing if the first perk is with your guild is that you unlock an X5 multiplier, and then you get an X10, X15, 25, X50 for guilds that push super far. That alone would revitalize the guild perk system and make people actually care about pushing in the guild. Because right now, there's no reason for guilds to track player participation as long as all the guild bosses are dying. There's no reason to track if your guildies are logging in. There's no reason to track their contribution. There's no reason, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As long as I've taken the prerequisites of Unity down to, as long as the guild bosses are all dying, do whatever you want. Because why would I ask for more from my people? Everybody's putting so much effort. As long as the guild bosses are dying, go for it. Plus, there's nothing else I could do. I mean, if the guild bosses die before you get a chance to swing on them, there's no complaint to be had there. I can't be like, hey, why didn't you attack guild boss this week? Because they're all dead, And I know not every guild has that issue, of course. And it's not really an issue, I'm just saying. So it's a good reason, I guess, a shout out to other people there to give your guildies slack. The guild bosses are dying, don't worry about it. But anywho, other things with guilds though, I've mentioned this before, and the sign up feature for Guild Boss 5 was a cool feature. It was a cool idea. It was a cool feature. However, let's fast forward a couple weeks because, Guild Boss 5 has been out for a while. It's a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt for everybody. You have to remember to sign up every week. The guild leader has to continually poke everybody in the guild and say, hey, don't forget to sign up. Hey, don't forget to sign up. Don't forget to sign up. It's just a bad mechanic. You're putting more work on the guild leader, and you have this interaction of, all right, I got to chase everybody around. Don't forget to sign up. There's no joy. There's no benefit to me clicking sign up once a week. It's like, oh, let's click sign up. I'm already fighting the guild boss potentially. So clicking sign up doesn't bring anything to the table. It was a cool idea. I think it's cool they did it. And my recommendation was to make it a one-time thing. So once you have joined a guild, once you sign up to Guild Boss 5, for every week from then on till infinity, just make me already signed up. And on top of that, make Guild Boss 5 remember the teams from last week. Why do you want the guild leader to have to redo the teams every time? If you have the original teams from last week there, he can make little moves and changes and all that, but you're asking the guild leader to do that every single week. It's not a good move. You're putting a lot of work that doesn't need to happen. The key to these games is it's convenience, you know? If there's content that's difficult, I want to play it manually. I want to push manually. If there's content that is farm, I want to autopilot it. That's where we are with gaming at the moment. You're going to see that coming to all games. Even if we're not talking mobile games, you're going to see autopilot and things like that start to come to all those other games that have a grind mechanic. I've taught my team how to farm this content. They can do it on their own. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like the progress of it. You beat the content, you 100% the content, you 3-star the content, whatever the game that you're playing, you have earned the ability for your team to autopilot it. You know? The bots won, people. The bots won, everybody. And I'm very thankful that the game has a loop mechanic, that has an auto mechanic. It's great, but let's bring that mechanic the next step forward. Let's make it work in Guild Boss. Let's make it work with all those little menial tasks that don't bring any enjoyment, don't bring any anything special. Let's streamline. This is all about streamline. So what else do we have? There's other stuff. We'll see. And like I said, I think the game is actually in a really good spot. There's some stuff that needs to be fixed. There's some stuff that can be fixed. I realize that full launch did not get the debuff thing. I'm fine with that. But yeah, speed up combat. Make Guild Boss 5 remember your team from last time. Make Guild Boss 5 only require sign up once, or just remove the sign up feature. It was a cool idea. It doesn't bring anything to the table. In the future, because there's no going back from Destiny, if you nerf Destiny items, everybody's going to be pissed off because they have worked very hard for their Destiny items. They have accepted the new gear meta. Nerfing it would not be the answer there for all my homies that did a lot of farming. So it's only moving forward from now. We need to learn from these issues. And I am a little bit miffed because I warned for all these things. I said, hey, if you do this, this will happen. If you keep dropping new gear that has higher total stats so frequently, like every week or 2 weeks, people will burn out. They will not want to invest in items. And speaking of investing in items, the refining mechanic is a problem. Other games have done similar things. I was kind of interested to see how they would do it here. But here's the problem. Destiny clashes with refining. Refining only works if you're only upgrading your gear like every 4 months or 6 months. Because even if I invest in my gear, I have 4 to 6 months to enjoy it, to spend the time earning it, to spend the time enjoying it. So it's a pretty good investment. And then 4 months later, I'm hungry. I'm ready for new gear, and I'm willing to invest. And that's okay. But if you keep dropping gear, we had, you guys know the history. We had Raid 8 come out, we had Guild Bosses come out, Raid 9 come out, we had all this stuff come out. I've talked about that stuff at length. I'm not really going to go through it. But, what would my advice be to a new player? Raid 9 comes out and I say, what gear should I go for? And I'd say, wait a week and see what the meta does. And then after that, wait another week and see what the meta does again, because I can't honestly tell you what to invest in. I assume that Guild Boss gear would last very long, but you can completely skip Guild Boss gear. If you're a new player watching this, it's still a good game. I still suggest it, and I still actually really, really like the development team. But I would just say, all right, push till you get to Raid 9, make some friends so you can farm Raid 9 easily, which is now super easy because everybody's super strong with Destiny gear and everyone's total stats is like 7K plus. I would just say run Raid 9 until your legs fall off. Get Destiny gear from the boxes. Completely skip and don't even worry about guild bosses. So you don't have to worry about getting in a good guild. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Good guild will help, but you can really just ignore all that and just get the highest total stat Destiny gear from raids. And then by the time you've done that, the meta will have changed again, and you'll have to figure it out from there. You know? So that's where we're at, and I believe that every single thing on this list that I'm making can be fixed and probably will be fixed. If I had infinite amount of time per day, I would just keep championing these suggestions and keep doing what I've been doing for a long time. But I don't have infinite time, and it's a very weird time. 2020 is an interesting year. All the big, smart, big brain people are telling me that 2021 is going to be a very similar year to 2020 based on reasons and whatnot. So we're not going to get into that, but you know, hey, all right, I got to start being productive. Got to start doing something. So, yeah. Kind of wraps it up for me. I am handing over the GM to the one, the only, the savior, the hero that we wanted, the hero that we needed. I'm not making the Batman meme, although that's a really good movie. Eagle. Eagle's going to fly. Eagle has run Cartel for a very long time. He handled that. Every guild has bumps in the road and whatnot. He handled everything awesome. I've always really liked him. I've always, supported him a lot, but he's one of the guys. It's like the people that you want to support end up not needing a lot of support, and that lets you know that you got the right people in the spot. He's always been phenomenal, so he's going to run the show. Mafia is in a really good spot. They did a consolidation. All the Mafia and Cartel people talked, and instead of having two equal kind of sister guilds, they have decided to consolidate power. And so all the top pushers, I should say, from Mafia and Cartel are in Mafia. So we've got like a double farm system going on, and Unity has passed every goal that I have set for them. Had a phenomenal time. We still play Among Us. Hellville still likes murdering people and blaming it on me. It's all good. I got no complaints with that. You know? Man, it's a group of friends that we've all been acquaintances and friends before this game, and in the future we'll continue to do all that kind of stuff. But I'm glad to step down. I had a really good time running the Unity Alliance, but I think now's the perfect time. It's the lull before the storm. Guild Boss 6 plus and all of them are coming. So we'll have a new captain running the ship. And like I said, the Alliance is as stable as it's ever been. Cartel's stable after the big shift. I was kind of bracing myself to see if there's going to be any drama or whatever. No, it was smooth. And Mafia is the strongest that has ever been because of the consolidation of power. They're rocking Guild Boss 4s. No problems there. And like I said, Unity last week killed Guild Boss 5 without me even having a chance to attack. So we're smashing everything. Strongest players in the game in Unity, doing big things. But like I said, it's a massive time commitment just to play the game alone. I'm at the point now where I only have time to run raids on auto, just because Loop is such an amazing feature. But you add on top of that doing the GM stuff, and then you add on top of that the Alliance, and I don't really have any Discord responsibilities anymore. I'm there to kind of lend a hand if something happens or catches on fire these days. But the mods do mod stuff, helpers do whatever helpers do. Everything is good. And you set something right when it runs itself. All I was really needed for was the transition and setting the thing up, adding all the channels and permissions and all this good stuff. But it runs well. I got no complaints. Let's go see what our damage was. The first time I did it, because I did one attack off screen and I did the 2 attacks on the video, we did like 4.7 million, and we're in a new team. So let's see what this looks like. I don't know if anybody else is attacking right now. I just opened it. But just to say it for like the 10th time, because I'm sure people in the back won't hear, I still really, really like the development team. I still think they have a ton of potential. They're going to continue to improve this game and push the 2D turn-based RPG on mobile, I think they're going to push the genre to its limits just based on how much they've been able to do. They just need a little bit more experience. And I mean, test things, talk to players in your community. If you're going to drop some new thing, I think it's less important to be like, we want to surprise players with this, versus talk to your people and ask what they want. In any business I've ever experienced, the people, the consumers or whatever you want to call them, the clientele will tell you what they want all the time. You run a restaurant, they'll tell you what they want. Hey, these tacos are small. I want more meat, whatever it is. Or this is too spicy or not spicy enough, whatever. I'm kind of getting hungry, fellas. Your people will tell you exactly what they want. And then if you have the abilities to do that, and this dev team absolutely does. I mean, War Mode was cool. I still think War Mode needs tweaks and fixes and so on, but we've seen War Mode, we've seen Guild Bosses. I've never seen Guild Bosses done like this. I think they did a really good job in the 2D turn-based space. We've seen the tower added, which is, it could use some work. I think the issue with the tower is mainly because battles are so long, so you get so invested in after like 30 minutes. If you're a tank, you can still just die to a bunch of trash mobs. They could tweak some towers and make that better by far. But the core of what's going on is awesome. They just need some systemic fixes. Make combat faster. Work on redirect. I know redirect/taunt is super, super difficult. I get it. It needs to happen. You can keep throwing Band-Aids on a sinking, it's not a sinking ship, but you can keep throwing Band-Aids on a ship, and you're just going to have a bunch of Band-Aids, man. All these different loot boxes that we've seen, they're more Band-Aids. They're quick fixes, they're Band-Aids, it's not systemic fixes. The fix that we needed before we got all these loot boxes and all these raids wasn't loot boxes and currencies for loot boxes and this and that. Just improve the drop rate. And after loot boxes came, they did improve the drop rate. So now we have both, but just fix the system, improve the drop rate, and people will respond, and they did respond. And then same thing with all these attacks. Just loop it. I think it might even be cool. This is a pretty big ask, and obviously the number one thing is just make combat faster. But if they added in a world tour button that you just click it and it auto ran all of your content. So let's say yesterday I did difficulty 16 and I did the 5 tickets. If I could just hit world tour and it just ran all my regen, that would really help with player retention. And again, for the 100th time, make combat faster, for the love of God. But imagine if you could add in World Tour, and maybe you make Guild Boss not work with that, or maybe you make PvP not work or something. But imagine that. You hit a World Tour button, and it just runs through all your regen. Right? You have earned the right and the ability. If you're strong enough to do Ordeal 16 with a 5 ticket, and you got it on farm, reward the player, give it to them. But that's all I got to say. I'm going to keep pumping out videos. Yes, you guys have seen a bunch of Guardian Tales videos. Guardian Tales is a very minimal time commitment. If I want to log in once a day, I can just do it, get everything done, bing, bang. Content takes 30 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on what the content is. If I'm running raids right now, we're talking like 8 minutes to run one raid. And then I got to run like 15 raids, So the best thing I can do right now is just hit autopilot. But anywho, Unity Alliance is going to continue being the best alliance in the game. Unity Guild is going to continue being the strongest guild in the game. We have a very capable leader that has proven himself, and I'm happy to pass the torch. And in fact, I never intended to run a guild, alliance, Discord, whatever. This was all a temporary situation. I just wanted to steady the ship, and we have enjoyed the things. Let me take a look at my guild boss. Am I guild boss 8? Yes, I am. Look at that beautiful Thunder Fury. That's a beautiful man right there. So now is the time. Everything is as stable as it's ever been. Now's the time. And I always intended on passing this on. I thought I'd be running the guild for like a month or 2, or 3 at most, and we've gone a little bit past that. just to get things steady. But yeah, I'm going to go over here and look at Notzilla's beautiful calves. And yeah, there's more stuff in the future. In case you guys are wondering, why am I so busy? I am working on learning game dev. I've been doing that for a while. And as that ramps up, I'm devoting more and more time to it, to the game dev space. I've always wanted to make like a Zelda-like game. I thought about doing a turn-based game because it would be so much easier than doing like a Zelda kind of, you got to move around and hit, and projectiles have to go how fast and how far and all that. Turn-based seems super, super easy, and it does kind of fit the niche of what a lot of people want. You know, you're busy, but you want your game to kind of progress while you're at work or whatever. I actually started playing Bit Heroes back in the day when I was doing hill sprints. And if you've ever done hill sprints, they are horrible. But it's 30-second sprint up the hill and then like a 2-minute walk down the hill, and if you have rest or you don't. And so it was kind of cold. I would have my phone in my hoodie and I was auto running raids. So it kind of gave me that little something to reward myself working out or whatever. You know, I'm a 240-pound big old man over here sprinting up this big old hill. So every little bit that helped me kind of get on a routine, get out the door, and that was helpful. So autopilot games do have a really good, they fit a need. However, I've done a lot of the turn-based stuff, and who knows, I might fall back on it just based on how my development abilities go, because it is a lot simpler. But I really like the Zelda kind of like games. I think Zelda completely changed the game, so to speak, when Zelda came out, how games were, because you had Mario and Zelda basically. And from what I've seen, I can do it. I can do those things. It's going to take a long time. I'm going to keep posting little bits of art here and there. I keep trying to do at least an hour of art per day, and then the rest is development tutorials and learning new programs and whatnot. But I'll keep posting little bits of art here and there. I'm going to try to revamp my Discord up, just kind of clean it up. I want to kind of clean it up from the old. I'm going to archive all of the old stuff, Bit Heroes, Bit Legends, whatever. Just kind of archive that, get it out of space, and open up new channels. So, for example, anytime I post something that is showable, which I won't have a lot of things that are able to be shown anytime soon. I want to post little bits and bobs up in the Discord and have some chat, maybe do a little bit of Among Us from time to time, because, man, that game is so fun. But, you know, getting my art out there, and over time, when I have development things to show, of course, there'll be YouTube videos, and we'll kind of transition that way. But we're talking about a project that's going to take probably 1 year for me to have real stuff to show, and then maybe 2 years as far as actual playable stuff. I'd rather over project than under project on timelines and stuff like that, but we'll see. It'll be fun. But Guardian Tales, it's super time convenient. It's very convenient for the player. It's Guardian Tales is actually the style of game I was looking for when I first downloaded mobile games on the phone. I wanted something that felt like Zelda crossed by Diablo is what I was looking for, and I found Bit Heroes. And I'm like, okay, this works. And I was kind of in the phase of trying to test and see what the mobile phone could do, because I just hadn't downloaded games on a decent mobile phone before then, really. And so it's interesting. We finally found it. Guardian Tales having fun. But as always, hang out, check out the channel. You know, more stuff's coming. You guys knew this was coming for a while. You can probably tell the number of Bit Legends videos is a little bit less, but the number of Guardian Tales videos is a little bit more. I get it. But this is signing off for Bit Legends. So if anybody's out there, I still recommend the game. I still think it's awesome. I still think it's much better than Bit Heroes. The developers it's just better. Whoever is pulling the strings on this game, it's just better. I don't even think I have to have that argument. But hang out. Hang out, boys. I have a world boss in this game, man. I have a bounty boss. That's pretty cool. and I appreciate that. But another part of it is I kind of got frustrated being a game counsel in different games. I was a team lead and a council advisor and all those different names that mean the same thing in a bunch of other games before Bit Heroes. And I did the same thing in Bit Legends, and I've done the same thing before, and all this stuff. And you get to the point where, that flip switches in your head, and you're like, why am I counseling games when I can just work on my own stuff? And even if it sucks for 2 years or whatever, or even longer, I think it'd be more rewarding in that way. So, anywho, I've had a good run. I've really enjoyed it. I'll still be, doing regen and stuff like that. But I'm very eager to see how the meta changes, how things improve. Who knows? I might pop on, if something new and crazy comes out, I might pop and check it out. Honestly, probably less likely is what I will say. But when this crazy 2020, 2021 Rona stuff, when it all wraps up and I'm finally stabilized, because I'm still technically on the road. This is ridiculous. We left like a year ago. Although it's been quite fun. Once I'm back to streaming, which is not anytime soon, I think I'll come back and I'll stream all of my region, or a big chunk of my region, on Bit Heroes, just to kind of catch up to whatever the update is. I'm not going to play, but I kind of want to run through all the content real quick, catch up, and burn off a bunch of region, because I have so many resources on the Bit Heroes account. I just want to burn that off, and who knows, I might have enough to get all the way up to whatever the current meta is, because I think 2 or 3 tiers have gone by since I played that game. And so I might as well just use the regen there. And then the same thing over here. I've got a good amount of regen and resources and whatnot on Bit Legends. So I might, when new stuff comes out or new tiers come out or however they do it, I might be able to come and kind of peek and make videos. But it'll be a long time till I stream, but it'll be fun. Those things will happen. But anyways, I'm rambling. This has been a very long video. And as always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.